Good morning. We've done a great deal of thanking this morning, and I want to start by thanking you all for being here and allowing me to entertain you for a few minutes. I also want to take just a moment to thank Arlindo and team at Diving Talks Portugal. So let's just give them a big round of applause. They've done a lot of heavy lifting in the recent days. So I was talking to let me first of all see if this works. Ha! The power! This morning, when we were on our way here to meet you, I was talking to some of the fellow speakers about how Guy and I have been in this industry over 40 years now. And a scuba diving event, in our experience, is like Christmas and a family reunion or summer camp or a vacation. It's where we get to gather with people that we love and that love the same things we love, and we get to share. And it's not a lie when I say I think I love my scuba diving family slightly more than I love my family of origin, because not many of them are divers, despite my tries. But anyway, being here today gives me all the feels, and that's kind of coincidental because this is what I'm going to talk to you about today, sentience in the sea. We are sentient creatures. We feel stuff. And what I want to do today is help connect science and imagination and emotion to uplift the scuba diving experience. And this should be the start of the video. Let's see. Yay! It worked. Sentience. What is it? Sentience is the capacity to feel emotions. We look out at a beautiful deep blue sea, or a sunrise, or a sunset. It invokes emotions. Joy, excitement, curiosity, wonder, and sometimes fear. There's so much happening in the ocean, and it can't all be explained by science. We wrote a book about this called Ocean Metaphor: Unexpected Life Lessons from the Sea. And we did what was either a brave or a stupid thing. We assigned animals human traits and emotions and sort of called them out as the poster child for different emotions. When we first started working on the book, our friends cautioned us that we might get into some trouble with this because science doesn't like it when you have emotions. You're supposed to observe and report and publish, not feel stuff. In the scientific community, there was a time when assigning human traits and emotions could really screw things up for your career. Science taught that animals do not think. They don't feel, at least not the way we do. Science taught us that animals live to survive, to eat, to avoid predators, to reproduce, eat some more, reproduce some more, avoid some more predators, food, sex, not die, and so on. It doesn't actually sound that bad, to be honest. It's kind of what, if we didn't all have to go to jobs, we could just do food, sex, not die. But anyway, scientists thought animal brains didn't have the capacity that we have. They couldn't hold anything more. No neocortex, no emotions. But now we know better. Phone! Everybody take a moment to silence your phones so you don't miss any of this. Now we know better. Now we know that consciousness is not exclusive to the human situation. There's something going on in there. Now we know that the area of the brain responsible for our emotions is different in animals. The first really broad acceptance of this came back in 2012, but it's still slow to grow, when a group of cognitive neuroscientists got together and issued the Cambridge Declaration of Consciousness. It's only 2 pages long, but I'm going to read you just an important quote from it. Humans are not unique in possessing the neurological substrates of consciousness. Non-human animals, including all mammals and birds, and many other creatures, including octopuses and crustaceans, also possess these neurological substrates. And I have a copy of it if you want to see it. But basically, these animals have stuff going on inside them the same as we do. We're just a big, giant meat balloon full of air and emotions, and they're even more complicated than we are. Charismatic megafauna is what we refer to of usually large, well-known, and widely appealing creatures like the ones that you're seeing here: dolphins, manta rays, and sharks. These are the low-hanging fruit for filmmakers. When we watch Christina Zanato, a shark behavior expert, removing a hook from a shark's mouth, we see the animal surrender. Now, this is a fierce apex predator coming and sitting in a woman's lap to have a very painful hook removed. And then it returns for something that looks like gratitude and affection. A fierce apex predator stops by for cuddles, the same way that you would have a cuddle on the couch with your dog or your cat. Tell me something's not going on in there. We can't be certain, but we can imagine. Albert Einstein famously said, "Imagination is more important than knowledge." For knowledge is limited, whereas imagination encircles the world. It stimulates progress, and it gives birth to evolution. I mean, think about this. Without imagination, we don't seek knowledge. Scientists would never have started searching for consciousness in the first place. They had to imagine it first. Somebody had to think it, and then we studied it, and then we knew it. But we had to feel it first. Einstein also said, "Look deep into nature. Then you will understand everything better." Guy and I have spent countless hours underwater observing and filming wildlife. Our work as wildlife filmmakers is largely about documenting animal behavior, like this amazing scene that we just filmed a few weeks about 10 miles offshore of our home on Fayel in the Azores. That animal knew where we were, approached us, looked us in the eye, and even moved her pectoral fin close in so she didn't accidentally tap us. She knew what was going on. The work that we do is to record wildlife, but also help people have a sense of wonder about it. We want people to feel. And what I want you today to know is you have permission to feel all the feels. You don't have to be a scientist. We got 8 billion people on this planet. That's 70% water. And roughly 6 million of us are divers. That's not a big margin. So with that, we have a huge responsibility. We're the people that are seeing all these things. It is our imperative to report with unbridled emotion all the things that we're seeing. We're not just supposed to know symbiosis and mutualism and commensalism and all the isms. We're supposed to feel all the feels. And that's one of the things that I want to really impress upon you today. Who thinks it, understands it, comprehends it, but who feels it, knows it. You know that saying, "I feel it in my heart"? That's what we want you to be experiencing as you explore the underwater world. We're here today to encourage you to lead with your hearts and go ahead and embrace all the feels. Show some emotion. We want your advocacy, your imagery, your writing, your volunteering, whatever the thing is that you're doing. We want that to grab your audience's hearts by the throat and squeeze. Give them a gentle squeeze so that when they see the work that you're doing or read the story that you're telling, they can't help but really care and really want to investigate more. They have deeper knowledge. This is not just a call to action. This is a call to emotion. We want your passion because passion is what will win the day. No doubt you've all heard the quote by anthropologist Margaret Mead, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. We love our oceans. We protect what we love. We've got some work to do. Let's not just roll up our sleeves and get to work. Let's put our hearts on our sleeves and get to work. Go ahead. Come on.
Thank you.
Come on. I need that. We're only 10 minutes in, and I've got another 10 minutes to go. So now I'm going to ask you to do me some favors. What I want to do next is I want to help you connect with the emotions. I've just been blah, blah, blah about them. Hopefully Guy's imagery has persuaded you to feel some feels. But I find that one of the best ways to feel is to connect with your child self. The kid that used to play with bugs and come in from the play all dirty and got messy and picked at stuff because you didn't know what it was, your curiosity. So I'm going to ask you, just for a moment, close your eyes. No harm's going to come. See if this can still work. Close your eyes and picture your child self, the kid that climbed and leaped and wondered. And take that kid self and immerse that kid self in the ocean. Give yourself whatever it is your ocean experience will evoke, whether you're on a coral reef or in a cave or on a shipwreck or on a rebreather, whatever it is that you need for your imagination to play and be with the heart of a child, because imagination is more important than knowledge. So now that you're in that mindset, go ahead and open your eyes, and I'm going to do a little bit of reading from the book that we published, Ocean Metaphor, because I want to give you a few examples here. So right here you see a shrimp goby and a nearly blind shrimp. Now these are two animals, different species, that spend their entire lives together in the same little bunker. They live in a burrow together. This guy over here is nearly blind, so he has a seeing eye fish. And if you'll notice, they're always touching. The fish never leaves too far so that the shrimp can't touch it and tap it and know that it's there. Now, science will say that's a symbiotic relationship and it might be mutually beneficial and blah, blah, blah. What if it's devotion? What if these two, this odd couple, has a relationship in which they're devoted to each other, and they look out for each other, and they cover each other's backs. One can't see, the other serves as the sentinel. One's really good at digging, it makes a home. We do the best we can with what we've got. To me, that's a relationship that I think of as devotion, and it's one I'm very lucky to have with my husband, Guy, because he has my back all the time. I'm often the blind shrimp in our relationship, and he is my faithful guardian goby. The lobster is the poster child of struggle. Now, they're also delicious, but I want you to stay in the realm of recognizing how cool this animal is. This is a picture of a molt. It's going through ecdysis, because to stay small is to die. We must grow, we must continue to grow, and we must continue to thrive. So it's got to burst out of its shell. But in order to do that, it's got to take internal cues and use hydraulic pressure to burst out of that shell. It has to tear its own throat out and give itself a new asshole. And I'm not kidding. In order to grow, it's got to do some very painful things. But to not grow is to die. And it might die in the molting process, but it'll definitely die if it doesn't try. So next time you look at a lobster, imagine your own struggles in your life and what this guy has to go through in order to grow. And you can be thankful that our skeletons are on the inside of our meat suits instead of on the outside. Now, you might look at the decorator crab and see another scientific thing of, oh, the decorator crab, it brings the anemones onto its shell, it's got the predation situation, it's attracting prey, it's got camouflage. Well, I think it's just fancy. I think that's creativity. And when I see a decorator crab or some of these other wildly colored animals, it makes me happy, and it makes me try to be a little more brave the next time I go into my closet. Like, why not dress like a decorator crab? Michael Menduno was famous for wearing crazy socks, and I've decided that for the rest of my life I'm going to adopt that behavior. Even though I don't have socks on today, you'll see me in the future wearing crazy socks in honor of him. Stonefish is the poster child of stoicism. This fish has got resting fish face down. Doesn't move, doesn't tell you what it's thinking, it's stoic. And there are times when we need to steel ourselves and use that stoicism that the stonefish exemplifies. So if we keep looking, we can find ways that the animals can teach us how to be better humans. Dolphin, playfulness. They also have the food sex thing down, because if you've ever swam with them for any length of time, you'll see a lot of really rowdy behavior happening. This little guy, the anemone fish, lives in a toxic environment. Its very home is meant to kill it, because the anemone it contains all these powerful barbs with nematocysts that will kill the little anemone fish. But the anemone fish develops a thick skin. It has a thick coat of mucus that it uses to prevent itself from all these barbs. It's got an invisible shield. So the next time you're in a toxic relationship, maybe a work environment where you can't get out of it, you have to live there, you have to be there, think about this little guy. He's got a mucus coating, an invisible shield, so you can just give yourself an inner Nemo moment and say, what would Nemo do? Nemo would just survive this. Thicker skin? No problem. I've got this. I can survive the slings and arrows. No problem. I just love this little guy. And my favorite of all is the sea star. Once upon a time when I was really in a bad place, I had pretty much lost everything except my heart. And a friend who knew me and understood my struggle said to me, you know what? You're a little starfish now. You're a sea star. You've lost everything but your heart, but the rest will grow back. And she gave me a sea star pendant to wear. And I wore it for the longest time, just rubbing on it, like the little barbs of the arms of the sea star. And you know what? She was right. In time, everything grew back, and it grew back stronger. And that resiliency has enabled me to grow in ways that I hadn't imagined. Even if one arm might not be the same length anymore, or something might be not quite right, everything's still intact. And I think that's what the most important thing is. And lastly, this guy, patience. Sometimes we have to wait and wait and wait for what we want. The anglerfishes and the frogfishes can teach us that. They're slow going, but they eventually get what they need. I want to leave you again with this quote: never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. You're here to change the world. We're the only thing that can ever do that if we do it together. And the key is we must care deeply, wildly, passionately. And we absolutely have to go out into the world and shout that to everyone who will listen. Thank you for listening to me today.